A Democrat named Arthur Davis, black Democrat, a guy that seconded Obama's nomination in 2008, quit the Democrat Party yesterday. Arthur Davis said he can no longer be a member of a party which is the architect of job destruction. He doesn't want to be a member of a party which criticizes achievers. He doesn't want to be a member of a party that targets achievement for punishment. He's a down-the-line conservative. Now, some people are being cynical and saying, well, he's just doing an Arlen Specter. He's just switching parties because he knows he can't win as a Democrat. I don't care. I listen to what he's saying. This is an African-American who's setting himself up for Uncle Tom status. This guy's going to join the ranks of Thomas Sowell and Clarence Thomas and Shelby Steele. He's going to be persona non grata in the Democrat Party. Jesse Jackson, this guy opposed health care. Jesse Jackson, well, he didn't oppose it, but he voted for it. But no, wait a minute, I don't think he did. I think he voted against health care. And Jesse Jackson said, you cannot be black and oppose Obamacare. You can't be black and oppose Obamacare. So here's Arthur Davis leaving the Democrat Party. He knows that where we're headed is the result of Democrat architecture. They wrote this. They wrote Obamacare. They wrote the stimulus. They're the authors of high taxation and other policies which lead to economic growth declining. This fiscal cliff that we're headed towards, the Democrats are driving the car. If they don't want us headed to the cliff and going over, they would change the direction the car is being driven. But they're not. They're doubling down on it. What part of this agenda do the Democrats not want? You hear any Democrat arguing against the Obama agenda other than Arthur Davis, who's leaving the party? You don't. So we got tax increases. We've got the deficit ballooning, massive cuts to the military right down the road here. These are all part of the Democrat Party's wet dream for this country, folks. What part of it do they not want? Now, if Obama and the Democrats don't want to be in power during the forthcoming economic train wreck, they would change their policies. But they're not doing that. They're doubling down on the speed, and it's full speed ahead. Now, some interesting economic numbers here. With today's quiet revision, we mentioned this the first hour. Economic growth, first quarter, originally reported at 2.2%. Today, it was quietly revised down to a growth rate of 1.9%. That's the robust economy that 3.5 years of Obama have given us. During the recovery, during the 80s, Ronald Reagan's recovery, the gross domestic product of this country averaged 6%. We can't even maintain 2% with Obama. James Pethokoukis, who we cite frequently from the American Enterprise Institute, has posted the GDP under the 5 quarters since Obama's recovery. 0.4%, 1.3%, 1.8%, 3%, and now 1.9%. Those are the real growth rates. During Reagan's recovery, the GDP averaged around 6%. Arthur Davis voted against Obamacare twice. The only member of the Congressional Black Caucus to vote against it. That was right. And Jesse Jackson said you can't be a black man and vote against Obamacare. So my only point here is this is purposeful. How can it not be? Now, some Democrats might be thinking we're on the right road. We just got to be patient here. And at some point, all this is going to rebound and it's going to come back and we're going to be... It's impossible. With these policies, the private sector where you and I live and work is shrinking. There's no way it can grow with these kinds of policies. Obama is taking money out of the private sector every day. Obama is killing jobs in the private sector every day. There's no way that the private sector can grow. The government sector can and is, but it doesn't produce anything. It feeds off of the private sector. It doesn't produce a thing. The public sector redistributes wealth, destroys wealth, but it does not create it. Actually, that's not altogether true. Obama tried to create wealth by giving money to Solyndra, but it didn't work. But you might say that they can create wealth by transferring to their donors. But we're talking of 25 or 30 people. We're not talking about policy here. Their policy cannot possibly create economic growth. This is why I wanted it to fail. This is why I've been maintaining from the get-go that this is purposeful. Again, it's Realville, and it's so simple, it's hard to understand. You cannot raise taxes, which is taking money out of the private sector, and expect it to grow. You can't raise taxes on business and expect them to have money to hire people or to give existing employees raises. You can't make credit so tight that people can't borrow money to grow and have growth. It doesn't work. This has never worked. It's never worked anywhere it's been tried. That's why I say Obama is a dinosaur. Obama is 50 years ago. Obama's still living in this mythical world where FDR almost had it right, but he just didn't spend enough money. There's nothing forward about Obama. There's nothing really progressive in the sense that we are engaging in progress or having any or moving forward in that way. We're going backwards. And the guy in charge thinks that he's making a gigantic transformation for the good. It's laughingly, but it's not funny, incompetent. It defies all logic, economic, political, common sense logic. Is being stood inside its head, upside down, for you to believe that these kind of policies, for anybody to believe, are going to lead to private sector economic growth. And by the way, the numbers are in, and we ain't growing. 1.9% is not enough growth to change the direction, which is downward, that we are trending.